Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars figure review. We're going to be continuing on with the vintage collection today, and the first figure that I'm going to give you a look at is the final figure that I've got left to review from Wave 5. You may remember just prior to my Sideshow Collectibles figure reviews I gave you a look at each and every figure from this wave, and this is the last one that I've got to do. So I'm going to do this guy and then it's on to Wave 4 of the vintage collection. So the figure that I'm going to give you a look at first up is this little fella. This is of course R5-D4, the astromech droid that Owen Laws would have purchased if it hadn't been for his bad motivator. This is a decent figure all around. I've got a couple of issues with it. I'll get onto those in just a minute. But first up, as always with my reviews, we're going to take a look at the packaging that this guy comes in. Now personally, I prefer this figure from a carded display standpoint as opposed to a loose display standpoint. This is just because the figure itself is reasonable, but it's not great. But when you look at it on the card, it looks superb. Once again, this is a figure that I've decided to keep packaged, and it's a really nice looking card back. As I've said in previous reviews, absolutely love the generic Star Wars logo there. I think that looks awesome. Obviously the image on the card back is very retro looking as well, and the figure does look cool inside the plastic bubble there. So pretty cool. There's the front of the packaging, and then on the back you've got the original release of R5-D4 from I believe 1978 to 1980, as well as the vintage collection description at the side there, along with the rest of the wave pictured along the bottom. If you want to check out reviews on all of these figures, then do have a look through some of my previous videos, as I've reviewed every single one of them. So there we go, that's R5-D4 in his plastic prison. Absolutely love this card back, really do like this one. So yeah, there we go, that's R5-D4's packaging. Onto the figure itself. For those of you that have been collecting for a good few years, you may remember that there was an R5-D4 figure released in the Saga collection back in 2006. Now it may surprise you to learn that this figure isn't actually that same one. For whatever reason, Hasbro have opted to use the Legacy Collection Build-A-Droid sculpt for this figure. You may remember that during the Legacy Collection back in 2008 and 2009, Hasbro did run a packing promotion with those figures, and you collected each and every figure from each wave, and eventually you'd be able to build up a droid. And these are the parts that Hasbro used to create this figure. It doesn't look bad, but in my opinion the previous Saga Collection 2006 figure was far superior. There were little details on that one that are missing from this particular figure, and in my opinion this version of R5-D4 just doesn't feel as good quality as the Saga 2006 variant. The one thing that really stands out for me and annoys me a little bit is the holes on the side of the torso, where you could add in extra droid parts if you wanted to really go mad with your customizable droids. So that really does my nut in a little bit. And also the fact that when you turn the dome on the figure, the motivator doesn't pop up as it did with the Saga Collection 2006 R5-D4. On the plus side, Hasbro have decided to include some missing paint applications on this figure that were missing on the original, such as the blue stripe above the two red ones. There are minor paint differences between this version and the Saga 2006 one, and if you want a nice full in-depth look at all of those differences, I recommend you check out flyguy.net here on YouTube. He's done a fantastic review, a comparison review on both of these figures. So in terms of articulation, this guy pretty much has all the articulation you'd expect from an astromech droid. He's got a swivel dome, swivel shoulders and swivel ankles, well, hinged ankles more like, and he also has a removable third leg, and of course he's wheeled on the bottom. The most interesting point for this figure for me personally is the fact that you can remove the dome, obviously since it uses the Build-A-Droid parts, and underneath you've got all the inner circuitry of the astromech droid's dome, which does look pretty cool. although I must admit, even on some of the buildable droid figures that were available in the Legacy collection, some of these gadgets and wires were painted, you know, so could have done with a little bit extra detail on there, but I'm not going to complain about it too much. As I said, the only thing that really bothers me about this figure is the fact that it feels a little bit flimsier than the previous Saga collection figure, and it's just not quite as good. As I said, the holes in the torso put me off a little bit, and also the fact that the legs are quite bendy and sit pretty far away from the torso, that annoys me a little bit as well. But other than that, it's a decent figure. If you're having trouble hunting down the Saga Collection 2006 R5-D4, then I'd definitely recommend picking this one up. Although if you're faced with the choice, in my opinion, I would probably just pick this one up to keep it on the card if you're that way inclined. Or I'd just, as I said, try and hunt down the Saga Collection 2006 version and skip this particular figure. You may be wondering why I've picked up two. The main reason for that is just because I like Astromechs, and I've already got the Saga Collection R5-D4 in my A New Hope display, so this guy's going to sit in with the rest of my Astromechs, and obviously I've kept the other one carded to add to my carded display. So there we go, that is R5-D4 from Wave 5 of the Vintage Collection. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and as I said, I'll be back to give you a look at Wave 4 of the Vintage Collection next. I do apologise for backtracking a little bit. I should have done Wave 4 before Wave 5, but unfortunately I didn't have Wave 4 at the time that I filmed my Wave 5 reviews. So slowly but surely we'll get through all of those figures as well. So anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.